Hello, my name is Keshwani. There's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT grammar questions out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problems that we are about to solve are the ones that you will find on page number 837. Please turn to it. Page 837, and today is our lesson number 37. These are a series of 11 questions. We did the first 3 questions on the previous page. Those were the easy ones. Today we'll do the mediums and the hard ones. As we get closer to number 11, they're going to get more and more difficult. The first column, there are medium questions. In the second column, on the right hand side, we have hard problems. Number 4. It says, activist, I don't know how to pronounce the name here, Mumio Oku, I believe. Let's just call it activist Mo campaigned to improve the lot of Japanese women, to improve the lot of women in Japan. To improve the lot of women in Japan, let's just say to improve the lot of women, forget about in Japan, by exposing, let's put it here, by exposing faulty household products. She successfully demanded that these products be recalled. Let's see what we can do here. What is the problem with this sentence? Does it need improving? Of course it needs improving. It needs improving because in our checklist here, as we go through here, what we find here is that this sentence violates principle number 6, parallel construction. The sentence starts out by telling us that this activist campaigned to improve the lot of women by exposing faulty household products, and then they go on to say she successfully demanded that these products be recalled. It is not consistent. This is what is known as parallel constructions. She campaigned to improve the lot of women by exposing faulty products. The very next word that your ears expect to hear is what? She tried to improve the lives of these women by exposing faulty products, and is the word that that we expect to hear next. And we don't need the word she. Successfully, not demanded, but successfully demanding that these products be recalled. There you go, that's it, we are done. Exposing, ing, demanding. She campaigned to improve the lot of women by exposing faulty household products and demanding their recall. Demanding that these products be recalled. Let's see what we can do. At this point, again, I always forget to remind you in the beginning, at this point, so far in the story, your answers should have been covered. You must keep your answers covered with one hand. You must have the pencil ready in the other hand. Keep the answers covered as we are working on the sentence. We improve the sentence, we fix the sentence ourselves without looking at the bumbo jumbo that they give us in the 5 answer choices. Once we have fixed the sentence that we wanted it, now we lift our hand, now we are ready to look at the answer choices And at this point, all we have to do is pick one answer choice that comes closest to it. That's it. We're not looking for the exact same words, anything that comes closest to it. B, C, D, E. So she tried to improve, rather she campaigned to improve the lot of women by exposing, and the underlying portion starts from here, exposing all the way up to the end. By exposing, I'm looking at answer choice B now because there is no point in reading A. A just repeats whatever was stated in the sentence. I'm reading answer choice B. By exposing faulty household products and successfully demanding their recall. There you go. And successfully demanding their recall. Voila. We hit a jackpot right away. Let's look at what C says. C does not start out with the word exposing. We're looking for the first word in our underlined portion. It's exposing. C does not start out with that. D does start out with the word exposing. Exposing faulty household products, although successfully. There was no although. And E says exposing faulty household products whose recall, no, there was no whose recall. By exposing faulty household product and demanding their recall. That's it. The answer is B. Number 5. As I always remind you, the key to this question is making sure that you do not look at the answer choices. As soon as you look at the answer choices, your thought process is going to be polluted by all that garbage they give you in the other 4 answer choices. The whole bloody purpose of the other 4 answer choices. There are 5 answer choices. One of those 5 answer choices is the right answer. The whole purpose of the other 4 answer choices is to confuse the hell out of you, and you will be confused if you look at them without actually knowing what it is that you're looking for. Do you understand? That's the end of my sermon. Amen. Number 5. In response to the traditional assumptions that all readers are basically alike, I'm not going to write all of that in the beginning part. Feminist critics have emphasized that every woman reads from their own perspective. That's it. We don't need the rest of the sentence. You see how I left out the boring bits? Anything that's the boring bit, anything that is just there to fill up the space, there's no reason why you should spend too much time analyzing it, reading it. Just ignore it. The way the sentence starts out, it plays no role in it. We're interested in the juicy bits, the part that is underlined and the part that is around it. Okay? In response to the traditional assumption that all readers are basically alike, all of that was worthless. Feminist critics have emphasized that how far does it go to underline portion? All the way up to the end. That every woman reads. Why reads? Every woman reads. Why reads? Why with an S? Because woman is singular. A woman reads. Women read. We're not dealing with plural. We're not dealing with more than one woman. We're not dealing with women. One woman. A woman reads, which is why there is an S here, because it is singular. So it must continue in that fashion. It must continue in the singular form. You cannot all of a sudden change from singular form to plural form mid-sentence. That would be silly. Let's see what happens here. They contend that feminist critics have emphasized that every woman reads from, not there, it's a woman, it's only one. She reads from her own perspective. She reads from her own unique perspective, as they put it. And that's the only change here. That's the only change we're going to make here. The rest is fine. At this point, we are done now. We're going to lift our hand now. Look at the answer choices. We're going to go through all the answer choices, and we're looking for one answer choice where they replace the word there with her. I do not know why I put down letter number A, because A, of course, is silly. A is not the right answer because we're making a change. A simply repeats what is stated in the sentence. B says that every woman reads from her own unique perspective. There you go, bingo, on the jackpot. What does C say? C says that all women, we never talked about all women. We cannot change the meaning of the sentence. The meaning of the sentence, the structure of the sentence, the integrity of the sentence must not be violated. How women reading have, oh what the hell, it's silly. How the unique person, no. The answer is B. Number 6. When it begins to get too silly, there is no point in reading the rest of it, okay? It's just not going to work. It's just too silly. The spread of the honor code to which each student subscribes, the spread of the honor code to which each student subscribes requires academic honesty, respectful behavior, and it demands responsibility in action. And responsibility in action. What is going on here? What is going on here is that we are making a list, and when we make a list of items, the way the list starts out, the way the list is written, has to be consistent throughout. This one violates again principle of parallel constructions. We have a list. We have a list of three different things, two of which start out as noun. It requires, you see, again I'm going to do some surgery, and I'm going to take out the boring bits. Okay, I'm going to first read it, and then I'm going to take out the boring bits to show you what to ignore and what to keep. The spread of the honor code to which each student subscribes requires, all of that was a boring bit. All we are interested in this part. Okay, watch what happens. This is gone. The code requires, that's why there is an S there, the code requires, because code is a singular, code requires, and then they go on to list three things. Academic honesty, which is a noun, honesty is a noun, respectful behavior, and finally, this one has to be noun as well. Requires academic honesty, respectful behavior, and responsible action. I'm not sure if it's singular or plural. If it's plural, this will be plural. If it's singular, it will remain singular. Let's see what it is. It's singular. That's it. That's it, we're done. So we take out all of this, and now the sentence reads, as far as we are concerned, the sentence reads, the code requires academic honesty, respectful behavior, and it should have and responsible action. That's it, we're done. We are ready now to lift our hand and look at the answer choices and pick the one that comes closest to it. That's all. Don't make a fuss about it. Don't turn this into, that's the tendency that a lot of students have. They turn this portion of the exam into a freak show, and they sit there and then complain that they are so confused. Of course they're going to be confused. You turn it into a freak show. Don't turn this into a philosophy exam. Keep it very simple. Fix it yourself. Lift your hand, pick the one answer choice that comes closest to it. It's as simple as it gets. That's it. B says that the code requires academic honesty, respectful behavior, and responsible action. What do you know? What the hell? 3 in a row. We have 3 answer choices that are B, and 3 B's in a row, which is unusual. C says, well, C is no good because C starts out with requires. It doesn't have an S, which is no good because code is singular. Code is singular, so it has to have the code requires. C is no good. D says it requires academic work that is honest. Oh, crying out loud. We're making a list. We cannot, no. And E says, again, E says require. That's no good. There is no point in reading the rest of it. There is absolutely no reason why you should have to read the rest of the mumbo jumbo in E, because it starts out in the wrong way. It says require. Code is singular, as we already said many times. It requires. Whatever it is that you're going to say, it requires, not require. E is wrong. The answer is B. Number 7. Finding a wide variety of financial services. Finding a wide variety of financial services in a small city, in a small town, is usually not as easy as it is in big city. This small town, small city doesn't make any difference. It makes no difference. I don't know why I put a full stop. Small town, small city makes no difference. So let's see what the sentence actually reads. Now this particular sentence is unusual because it only has 2 underlined words. That's it. All we have to make sure is that there is nothing wrong with these 2 words, and that's all there is. It can be a double-edged sword. You can look at it as an easy question, and sometimes actually just because there are 1 or 2 words underlined doesn't necessarily mean it's an easy question. Sometimes they are written in such a way that most people actually miss out as to what's going on there, and they end up making a wrong decision, wrong choice. Let's see what happens here. Again, it's a very simple technique that we go through. This is our day number 37. You know what it is, what we do here. We never use any term from grammars. Well, I shouldn't say never, but not as often as you would expect your grammar teacher to use. They throw grammar terminologies from grammar left and right. What we do here is very simple. All I want you to do is read the sentence to yourself slowly. Pay attention, concentrate, read the sentence to yourself. My philosophy is that being a native speaker of the language, it should be that much easier for you to pick up from your ear, not from your ear, but to pick up by your ear if something is fishy. Do you understand? Let's read it slowly. Finding a wide variety of financial services in a small town is usually not as easy as it is in big city. What did you find wrong with this sentence? The answer is absolutely nothing. Nothing is wrong with this sentence. Finding a wide variety of financial services in a small town is usually not as easy as it is in big city. Bingo, that's it, it's fine. The answer is A. There is nothing wrong with it. The answer is A. Number 8. When the answer is 8, when there is nothing wrong with it, we're not going to beat it to that. That's it. There's nothing wrong there. There's nothing to talk about. Television programming difficulties already made television's programming difficulties already made acute by rising costs I'm trying to figure out where the comma was. threatens to become even more severe. And that's all we need. We don't need the rest of the mumbo jumbo as a result of lobbying by special interest groups. We don't need that. That's the boring bits. This is what the sentence reads as far as we are concerned. Difficulties already made acute by the rising cost. All of this that you see here is not we are interested in. The subject of the sentence is difficulties. That's the very first one on our list here. Make sure the subject agrees with the verb. Difficulties, watch what happens. Difficulties, we're going to erase the rest of it. The boring bits are gone. And now it reads, difficulties, plural, difficulties, threatens. Difficulties cannot threatens. Threatens is to be used with the singular subject. He threatens me. They threaten me. We do not go around saying, they threatens me. It wouldn't be proper, it wouldn't be correct. Singular subject must have a singular form of the verb. He threatens me. He hurts me. We do not go around saying, they hurts me. No. That's all there is. That's it, we are done. Difficulties threaten. That's it. Difficulties threaten. This is very simple, very straightforward scenario. That's it. We have done it. We have fixed it. All we have to do is lift our hand and look for one word where they have changed the word threatens or threatens to threatened, where they have taken out S, and that's all there is. B, C, D, E. Nothing else. We have made no other change. Already made acute by rising cost. Threatened. There you go. That's answer choice B. Let's see what C says. Already made a tutor. No, there is no tutor. Having been made. No. When it starts out in a silly, nonsensical way, there is no point in reading the rest of the bloody thing, as I've already told you many times. When it starts out by having made acute, there was no bloody having made. We have not made any other change. After having been made acute. Oh, for crying out loud. The answer is B. Number 9. Today, the primary role of advertising may be to appeal and persuade. Today, the role of advertising may be to appeal and persuade rather than what it once did, educating and informing. Let's see what we can do here. Again, this sentence violates the principle of parallel structure. However, the sentence starts out, it has to continue in that manner. Do you understand? The purpose, today, the role of advertising may be to appeal. You see, to appeal and persuade. Well, we don't have the to here because it's to appeal and persuade. Rather than, ignore this part for the time being, rather than, what do you expect to hear next? Let me say it one more time. Today, the role of advertising may be to appeal and persuade. Rather than, what do you expect to hear next? Rather than, you expect to hear to, rather than to educate and inform. Rather than to educate, to why to? Because we have a to here. They have to be parallel. The purpose of advertising today is to persuade and to appeal and to persuade rather than to educate and inform. That's it. That's our answer. The middle part here, we're not going to worry about it. It will pop out, the right form will pop out by itself. That was the gist of it. That was the meaty part. Excuse me just for 1 second. I'm still here. Number 9. So let's look at the answer choices. B, C, D, and E. Like I said, this middle part, don't worry about this thing. We need to concentrate on this part. This has to be to educate and to inform. The rest of the stuff in the middle will pop right out along with the right answer. B says what it once did. No. What it once did, which was educating and informing. We're looking forward to educate and to inform. That's what we're looking for. C says what it once was, education and information. No. We're looking forward to educate and to inform. Educating and informing, that's not it. What it once was, to educate and inform. To educate and inform. To educate and inform. There you go. And in the middle they have what it once was, instead of what it once did. Instead of what it once did, what it once was. Today, the role of advertising may be to appeal and persuade rather than to educate and inform. Rather than what it once was, to educate and inform. This middle part is there to confuse you, to try to throw you off track. Don't let them do that. Number 10. Of course, I realize it's easy for me to say don't let them do that, but it takes practice. It takes a great deal of practice to actually learn how to not fall for their tricks. And that's all it is. It's just a matter of practice. That's it. Number 10. As I've told you before many times, the concept that they're testing in these questions, the concept of grammars, are very, very elementary. They do not look for the nitty-gritty, abstruse, esoteric concept. Did we learn the word esoteric? Let me take the vocabulary list. I believe we have. If we have not, we will learn it right now. Esoteric. Do you know what it means? Esoteric. I'm looking at my list of the words here in the E and I don't see it. Apparently, I have not covered this word in our vocabulary lessons. Nope, it's not there. An esoteric concept is something that is understood by very few. An esoteric concept is something that is difficult to understand, something that is mysterious. I'm going to use it in a sentence one more time. What I said is that the concept of grammar that they test in this portion of the exam are very, very elementary. They do not look for anything abstruse or esoteric. Very simple concepts is what they're looking for. That's it. This is it. List of 7 things. Simple enough. Number 10. As an undergraduate at Rutgers University, Paul developed a serious interest. Notice how I ignored the first part, because we're not interested in that. I'm very touched that he was an undergraduate at Rutgers University, but I really don't give a damn. Do you understand? Paul developed a serious interest in drama. Paul developed a serious interest in drama. So far there is nothing wrong with the sentence. It's fine. Which eventually led to a distinguished career. Voila, that's it. As far as we're concerned, that is the end of the sentence. Ignore the beginning part, ignore the end part. That's not the juicy bits, that's the boring bits. That's just there to fill up the space. Paul developed a serious interest in drama, which eventually led to a fine career, or as they put it, a distinguished career, a successful career. That's it. One more time. He developed a series of interest in drama. It shouldn't say series of interest, it should say serious interest. He developed a serious interest. Why does it say series? He developed a serious interest in drama, which eventually led to a fine career. It is fine. It is fine. There is nothing wrong with this sentence. This sentence is fine. This sentence is correct. This sentence is proper. Just the way it is. How does one improve this sentence? To which the answer would be, one does not. It is a beautifully written sentence. The very last one, number 11. The Roman Empire often by questionable means we have a comma here, we have a comma here, that's your cue. That's your cue that anything that falls between the comma here, that's just mumbo jumbo. That's their way of saying this is mumbo jumbo, you can ignore it. The Roman Empire, often by questionable means, attempted to bring their version of law. That's it. As far as we are concerned, that's the end of the sentence. The rest is the boring bits. Do you see a mistake in it? Do you see a problem here? I'll make it easier for you. I'll make it simpler for you. Just erase this. Of course, in the real exam, you don't actually have a luxury of picking up your ruler, picking up your eraser and erasing things. But I'm going to entertain you by simply erasing it here. You get a comma. That's it. Now read the sentence. See if you can pick up on it. It is the very last sentence on a scale of 1 through 11. This is classified as the most difficult question in the series of 11 questions. Can you spot a mistake now? The Roman Empire attempted to bring their version of law. Do you see a mistake here? What is the subject of the sentence? The subject of this sentence is the Roman Empire. How many empire? How many empires? Only one. Roman Empire. It is singular. And since it is singular, if I were referring to Roman Empire throughout the discussion in the paragraph, once of course the very first time you will mention the word Roman Empire, and after that you will begin to refer to it with a pronoun. The pronoun that we'll use here will be it. So let's do that. Let's replace the Roman Empire, because it's singular, let's replace it with it. It attempted to bring their version of the law. What the hell? It is singular. Roman Empire is singular. Roman Empire is singular. It should be its, not theirs. It attempted to bring its own version of the law. Not their version of the law, its own version of the law. Roman Empire is singular, one empire. That's it, we're done. Let's go through the answer choices. As I told you before, do not turn this into a freak show. Do not overanalyze it. Only change that we have made here is to replace this word there with its. Nothing else. Nothing else, okay? So, go through the answer choices and see whether they have replaced the word there with its. In answer choice B, I do see the word its. At the very end of the line there in answer choice B, as you're looking at the book there, I do see its, so I'm going to read the answer choice B. Roman Empire was often questionable in its. No, we did not make any other change. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Do not turn this into a freak show. We did not make any other change. We're just replacing one word. Using means that are, no, that's silly. We have not made any change. Questionable means were often used. He says, often by questionable means, Roman Empire attempted to bring its. There you go, the answer is E. I'm going to go back and look at answer choice D one more time here, only because I realized just now that the correct answer actually does start out with not the Roman Empire, but something other than Roman Empire. So I'm going to go back and check D. Questionable means were often used by Roman Empire in attempting to bring its. No, questionable means were often used by Roman Empire is written in passive voice. It's written in passive voice. And your job is to avoid passive voice as much as you can. Passive voice is only to be used, fine writing commands, fine writing requires that the passive voice is only to be used when it is absolutely called for. Here it is not called for, it is not necessary. What does C say? Let's do one more time. Now that I've realized actually that the correct answer actually does not start out with Roman empires, I'm getting paranoid and I'm going to go back and look at C. We're not going to worry about B, because B, we already read it. The Roman Empire was often questionable in its means. That's not what we said. Using means that are often questionable, Roman Empire in attempting to bring no. It's just too weird. It's too awkward. I like E. Often by questionable means. It's succinct. It's direct. It makes a point. It is concise. Often by questionable means, Roman Empire attempted to bring its version of the law. That's all. The answer is E. That was the end of it. That actually turned out to be difficult. Actually, I was surprised why that was number 11. All we did was just change one word, and I was asking myself why in the world would that be number 11? But now that we look at the answer choices, we realize now why it's number 11 is because the way the answers are written, the way the answers are posed, along with the fact that the correct answer happens to be the very last one. By that time, everybody is confused, and in their confusion, they are hoping, the people who write the exam, they are hoping that you will fall for something else just because of the frustration that people feel. That was the end of it. Tomorrow we'll begin the next page where we have different type of questions. There are 18 of those questions. We're starting with number 12 and ending with number 29. We have done several of these. Today is our day number 37, which means we are in exam number 7. Each exam takes 5 days, which means six more times in the past we have dealt with the situations where, as we turn the page, we get to number 12, which is the new type of questions. It goes from 12 to 29. There are 18 of them, which means the first 6 are going to be easy, the middle 6 are going to be medium, and the last 6 are going to be hard. We'll do those tomorrow. Okay? I'll see you then. Bye now.